Brent here with Bring Your Own Tools, and on today's episode, if you want to learn how to install permanent Christmas lights on your house, keep on watching. Let's get started. Now this project, of course, starts and finishes with Everlights. Now, in all honesty and full disclosure, I did my own research. I looked at a few different brands that install permanent light fixtures on your house. And personally, Everlight stood out to me because they're such high quality LED bulbs. So I reached out to them and they sent me over this nice little care package. Now the container includes one roll of layout tape that goes 180 feet, 2 drill bits to drill the holes, wire splice heat shrink connectors, black gaskets, clear caps, a power booster, a 50-foot roll of unlit wire, and of course, the actual lights themselves. So now that we've gone over the material list, let's go ahead and check out my roof line. Yes, look at that beautiful roof line. Now the one tool that you really need on this project is a trusty ladder. And as you can see, I wanted to get in the festive spirit and actually have my one Christmas shirt that I actually have had since, I was 15. So it might be a little short, but in any case. I first suggest cleaning off your metal gutter system if you have one. I have a metal flange that goes over the fascia of the house, which is pretty standard and easy to clean. So now that we have our flashing fully cleaned off, it is now time to apply our layout tape. Now this layout tape is actually very nice because it has dimensions over the entire thing. So not just where the hole placement needs to be, they have inch breakouts between every single light, which comes in handy, especially as you can see right here when there's a light that lands straight dab in the corner spot, which inevitably is impossible to fit. Now in a perfect world, I would have caught this prior to actually drilling any holes, but I didn't. So I utilized the layout strand and just backed the hole placement back an inch after I rounded the corner. Now, as far as the hole drilling is concerned, they really make it a no-brainer, especially if you purchase the drill bits that come with the kit. I would highly suggest that just due to the fact that 1, you know for certain you have the right size, and 2, you're not burning out your own drill bits. Now, after doing this a few dozen times, I did come up with a handy trick of actually indenting the metal flashing first prior to drilling, just because, as we all know, drill bits tend to skip on metal surfaces if they don't have proper positioning first, and especially when you're working on a high surface area, you want to make sure you're getting quality hole placement, and anything that makes life easier when on a ladder is generally preferable. And just like any home renovation project, the number one priority is safety, so making sure that you feel comfortable as well as you have good footing for your ladder is key prior to actually installing the system, so just be safe, kids. Now once you have all your holes drilled and you remove all of the layout tape, it is time to check out the LED lights themselves. Now the reason why I love this system so much is due to the fact that the LED light bulb and the connection is encased in a perfect little resin pouch. Now this resin pouch is waterproof and watertight, so you don't have to worry about anything shorting out. Now prior to installing the light in the flashing, you have to install the black gasket first. I did try to actually install multiple at a time and then bring the lights into position, but the black gasket does not hold on tight to the light fixture and therefore may fall out as you're installing multitude at a time, which is why you have to install each one individually. Now, that's really the only downside that I've seen on this entire system, so maybe in the future they could fix that, but at this point, it's not that big of a deal, and I was able to install the system quite efficiently. Just less fussing on a ladder is always preferable in my eyes. Now the system is quite ingenious due to the fact that I would normally never suggest to anyone to drill holes in your flashing plate, but due to the fact that it has a black gasket on the backside, the hole itself waterproof, so no moisture or liquid is getting behind your flashing and potentially damaging your roof line. After doing this a few dozen times, I tend to realize that it's very helpful if you bend the flashing up slightly prior to installing. That just gives the metal a bit more leeway to allow a 1/4 inch thick light to go behind it, and then use needle nose pliers to position the light appropriately. Just makes it a little bit easier than using your whole hand to jam up in there. Now on higher elevation areas where you really don't have the ability to use needle nose pliers, I generally used my hands, which of course still sufficed. It just took maybe a little bit extra time installing the system. Now I had to make 3 specific wire splicing connections. One was between the 2 light strands, the other was between the end of the light strand and the unlit wire that had to run down the side of the house, and the third was between the unlit light strand and the power booster. Also, as a side note, when you're splicing light strand to light strand, you want to make sure that you have the proper length between the 2 lights to match all the existing spacing. And the nice thing about these 3 connections is that you have to do the exact same thing to all 3. So you first strip the wires themselves about a 1/4 inch down with your wire strippers, then use your heat shrink connections and actually connect each strand into the wire. Now, it's really tricky and important thing and aspect about this is that you want to make sure you're heat shrinking appropriate wires together. Now, if you look closely on one of the wires, it says Everlight and the other one says ground. You need to make sure that the ground goes with the ground and the Everlight goes with the Everlight. So just helpful tip and note to self on that one because that is very important. Then when you crimp the ends and ensure the fact that the wires are not going to go anywhere, you then heat shrink them. Now I use a heat gun. You can use some type of flame if you'd like, but I felt it was easier to use a heat gun. Now once that's complete, go ahead and tuck the wire underneath the flashing, and on the tail end you can run the unlit wire down the side of your house, connect it to the booster, and then plug it in. Now in all honesty, I was crossing my fingers hoping that it would work the first time, and it truly turned on just like this. Now I know pictures and videos won't do this system justice due to the fact that it looks so perfect on my house. It's sleek, it's slim, you barely notice it when it's off. And if you wait till it gets dark, well, that's when the fun comes in. Because look at that beautiful, sexy beast of a Christmas light string. Or whatever light you want to call it. I'm just glad that I don't have to ever get back up on that ladder again because they are permanent and all I need to do now is just plug it in. And there you have it, episode number 54 of BYOT done. I want to say a big, huge, special thank you to Everlights. It's an amazing company and the quality of these lights are extremely nice. So please check them out. I'll leave a link in the description box below on where to actually find and purchase them. In any case, thank you for your time. Please like the video, please subscribe to this channel, and please check out my Instagram feed and my newly developed website at BYOTools.me. You can learn how to support the channel from there. In any case, thank you for your time, and catch you next time. Okay, so sometimes Conan just gets really hyped up and amped up when I do my videos, and he just wants to be a part of them. So sometimes you just gotta let him be who he is, and he just wants to apparently attack Dad right now. Yeah, thank you, Kona. Look at those hops.